I love uniting RPG and cozy lovers. This is what my whole channel is about. Closing the gap between both gamers has been my ultimate goal because you get to live the best of both worlds. And today, Emily and I, or if you know her by her YouTube channel, Herbalogy, we're here to bring you the best and the worst cozy RPGs to buy on the Nintendo Switch if you're a collector. But also, if you love digital games and you buy the majority of them digitally, still watch this video because you're still gonna find a few picks that you might enjoy and you're gonna know if they actually run well on the Nintendo Switch as a whole. So I'm gonna leave the floor for Emily first.
Hey, it's Emily from Heartwarming, and I'm really excited to be here today with Miss Bubbles to talk about physical collecting for cozy RPGs on the Nintendo Switch. I'm a huge supporter of physical media, and there are a lot of great cozy RPGs out there that are perfect to collect for on the Nintendo Switch that are mostly complete on the game cartridge and don't require any additional patches or downloads that you have to worry about in the future when servers may shut down. But I do also want to highlight a few titles that you may want to consider going the digital route and avoid buying physical altogether. So the first game I wanted to showcase today is none other than Cat Quest, the possum pack that includes both the first Cat Quest and the second game. This is the perfect cozy RPG for all cat lovers, and especially those who love a good cat pun. You play as a cat who's trying to save their cat-napped sister, and it involves a nice lush world that you get to explore various dungeons in and collect a lot of loot and various weapons and spells. And it's a lot of fun and very simple combat that is really relaxing to play. And they made the second game even better by introducing a dog companion that will fight alongside you, or you're also able to play in couch co-op mode if you have a friend you want to play with, which there's not that many Switch games that support that nowadays. So I highly recommend getting the physical copy for the Cat Quest Possum Pack. The first game is complete on the cart, whereas the sequel does have a minor patch, but it's totally optional and can be played offline. So this is a great addition to anyone's physical game library.
Square, oh my goodness. Dragon's, oh my gosh, what is happening today? If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that there's this game that I freaking love, and it's called Dragon Quest Builders 2. And I am on a mission of enlightening people, telling them about it, because I'm hoping that the more units we sell, the more likely Square Enix will give us Dragon Quest Builders 3. So maybe you can help me manifest that, just like we did with Fantasy Life. I still think we manifested that game, so you know, why not? We can probably do this here as well, right? Square Enix, if you're watching this, please, come on now. Anyways, this is such an amazing RPG that is not as deep as, let's say, Diablo, Skyrim, or Witcher, so it's perfect if you love cozy games. The graphics alone are so cute, it's like Minecraft and Dragon Quest had a baby. As for the gameplay itself, it's perfect for those of you who love gathering resources, farming, crafting, building, decorating, and enjoying a bit of combat that is just not really hard in my opinion. Like, it's pretty easy for you to get used to it. Now, the physical version of Dragon Quest Builders 2 on the Switch requires a 348 megabyte download, so you can get the 1.7.3 patch. Emily owns the cartridge, she tried it, and she said that the game is running well without the patch. In handheld mode, it was stable, but it does struggle in docked mode. The patches fixed the issues, but she said again, it's playable regardless. Whether you go for the physical or digital version, I truly believe Dragon Quest Builders 2 is one of the most underrated cozy games that you must try and you should have in your Nintendo Switch library. If you don't, like, what are you doing? Fix it. Like, really, buy it. Alright, Emily, let me know, what is your next game?
The next cozy RPG game I want to recommend grabbing a physical copy for is Potion Permit, and it's not this copy. There's actually a brand new copy that's going to incorporate all of the downloaded patches and the extra DLC, all on the cart. So you definitely want to grab that one. But I found Potion Permit to be a very refreshing take on the cozy RPG genre, where instead of incorporating farming elements, you play as a chemist and help townsfolk with their various medical ailments. So the core game mechanic involves you hunting and gathering various materials and creating your own cures and winning over the townsfolk. It has a very charming pixel graphic style, and any game that allows you to own a dog that follows you around on your adventures is a total win in my book. So the new physical release of Potion Permit with all the extra DLC and everything on the cart should be coming out at the end of May, so definitely keep an eye out for it.
I freaking love Potion Permit. If you've been here on this channel for a while, you know how much I love it. And definitely buy it if you haven't. The next game for me is gonna be Monster Hunter Stories 2. Not only are the visuals so cute and cozy, but you also have an engaging story to explore and a fun combat system to enjoy. Monster Hunter Stories 2 literally follows the rock, paper, scissors formula, so once you memorize which action is faster between speed, power, and technique, things should be simple to navigate. And this is perfect if you feel like a more live-action combat game is gonna be overwhelming for you, because the turn-based nature of this game is gonna give you more time to think about the next steps that you want to take in combat. The world is inviting for you to explore, and as you gather different monsties, you can use the different abilities that they have. So some of them will let you reach higher places to gather treasures, others will help you dash or let you swim, break obstacles, and more. And in terms of the physical version on the Switch, and if you're looking for a game that runs well right off the bat, this one is playable right away. You don't need any downloads, even though some copies out there have a print that says that they do need a download to run. The website Does It Play said that this is actually a printing mistake, so you don't have to worry about that. And it's also worth noting that there is a new Monster Hunter collection coming that has Monster Hunter Stories 1 and 2 together, but keep in mind, in that pack, Monster Hunter Stories 2 is gonna be downloadable. It's not gonna come on the cart. The only one that you're getting on the cart is gonna be Monster Hunter Stories 1. Now back to Emily, because I know she has another one that she's gonna recommend, and it's one of my favorite farming games.
Now, Cozy RPG list is not complete without mentioning the Rune Factory series, which really pioneered mixing together the farming simulator with an action RPG. But the Rune Factory game that I want to talk about today that has an exclusive physical release on the Nintendo Switch is Rune Factory 5. This is the most ambitious Rune Factory game we've had to date, and even though I do miss the chibi little figures that we had in the DS games, the 3D graphics are a really nice change. And I really loved all the charming characters, and the overall story notes were really interesting. But despite all the positives and the exciting new direction for the series, I will admit I was a bit disappointed in Rune Factory 5, specifically with this physical edition. So as you see here, I did end up buying the special edition on day one that included the DLC costumes on the cart, and I will admit I only put about 5 hours into this before I had to put it down. Unfortunately, at launch, there were a lot of frame rate and performance issues, and there were also a few bugs, and I encountered a couple crashes during my short time playing it. So I'm a little bit torn when it comes to recommending Rune Factory 5 in physical form. On one hand, it may end up being cheaper than going the eShop or the digital route, because the standard copies for Rune Factory 5 I've seen dirt cheap, both in Europe and also in North America. And if you're someone who just adores the Rune Factory games and you don't really mind the performance issues or anything, this is perfectly playable, and I actually plan to go back to this game eventually to finish my playthrough, because I really did enjoy what I played. I just kind of wished the performance was a little bit better. But on the other hand, if frame rate drops and performance issues do really hinder your experience, you may want to consider just picking up physical copies for Rune Factory 3 or for Special instead.
You know me, I love Rune Factory 5. I have a review for it, so I'm gonna pin it for you in the comment section. But the next to buy cozy RPG from me is gonna be Atelier Mary Remake. Now, last year when I made my review for Atelier Mary Remake, I said that I was so worried about how the game is gonna turn out. With all the trailers out there, I felt like, what if they're just making it seem like it's cozy, but then it's actually not? Because I know that the old Atelier Mary games are difficult with annoying time limitations, so it makes it anything but cozy. But it's safe to say that I was proven wrong when I played the game. This one is excellent for newcomers to the Atelier franchise, and it's overall a treat to play on the Nintendo Switch, especially if you're looking for a cozy JRPG. Helping Mary succeed in the academy after failing for so long is so fun and so quirky. You're gonna gather resources, synthesize them, develop friendships with different characters, and unlock various endings depending on the choices you make. As for the combat, it's very flexible because you have different difficulty levels to choose from, so the battles are gonna be either very easy or very difficult depending on which level you go with. As for the Switch Physical Edition, Does It Play says that there are no download required, however there are a few performance issues when playing the Apple minigame. I cannot recommend Atelier Mary Remake enough. I think it's such an underrated gem that just went off everyone's radar. Is that how you say it? It's went under. It went under everyone's radar last year, and hopefully I can help change that. Now I know Emily has one last game to recommend for you.
This next game is probably one of the most heartwarming and sweet RPGs that I've played to date, and that is The Cruel King and the Great Hero. Now the art style here is simply stunning, and I just love how the game presents itself like a fairy tale or a storybook, and how you kind of slowly are following Yu's adventure as she kind of learns more about herself and her family. The game's simple approach to the turn-based combat system I think is great for newcomers or for anyone who just wants a very relaxing combat system. This game just has so many great elements that I think a lot of cozy gamers will love, like the upbeat music, the just charming characters and dialogue, and the slow pacing. Just perfect for anyone wanting a very relaxing RPG experience. If you can find the launch version for this game, it does come with a nice plush and a hardcover story art book that is really great for any physical collectors out there. And the game cart does involve a very small minor patch, but overall this game is still perfectly playable straight out of the cart without any downloads. So definitely great for anyone's physical game library.
So we talked about the games to buy. How about the ones that you should avoid? And I'm gonna start with one that if you are a fan of this channel, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I freaking love my time at Sandrock and my time at Portia. But you also equally know that the Switch release of both of them has just been making me feel baffled. Like, terrible. I love both of these games so much, but there's no way I can recommend either of them for you on the Nintendo Switch. Yes, they are amazing cozy farming RPGs that anybody should play who is a fan of these genres, but Nintendo Switch is just not the way. Sandrock is such an amazing game. It has an expansive story with wide range of blueprints to craft, activities to enjoy. You literally have over 100 hours of content that will keep you on your toes. And I'm actually gonna make a video called I Played 100 Days of My Time at Sandrock, so definitely make sure you're subscribed if you want to watch that. But again, the Switch version is just terrible. I have the digital version for Portia, but then the physical version for Sandrock. And even though the devs did have a big update for Sandrock on the Nintendo Switch, where they tried to address things like the frame rate, the graphics, the UI, and more, it still gave me motion sickness. So for me, like if you have motion sickness like I do, especially from very harsh frame rate drops, just leave it. Just don't play it on Switch. It's just not worth the migraine. And before I share my other to avoid game, I want to hear from Emily first.
Now this last cozy RPG is one that I do recommend everyone to play, but the physical copy is one to definitely avoid, and that is Child of Light. This is another super relaxing RPG that has a lovely graphical style and just very soothing music. And the battle system actually takes after Grandia, which is one of the classics. So if you kind of want to dabble a little bit on classic turn-based combat systems, this might be a good way to kind of dip your toes into it. This is a relatively short RPG and it takes about 10 to 15 hours to complete. So if you're someone who's intimidated by the very lengthy RPGs that could take 50 or 100 plus hours, this is definitely one to consider. When it comes to the physical releases, in Europe, sadly, it's only available as a code in the box, which is something to definitely avoid as it only has a little piece of paper inside and not an actual game cart inside the package. So it's definitely eco-waste and something to avoid at all costs. In North America, there is a physical version that is actually on a game cart. It's packed alongside Valiant Heart in a dual pack. However, that right now is out of print and well above MSRP on the secondary market. So it's not something that I would necessarily recommend to go out and buy right now. So you're probably better off buying this game digitally since it does go on sale quite often on the eShop.
So the next one that I will say is an avoid. It really depends on your preference. You might feel like what I'm gonna say just doesn't really matter and you're still gonna buy it regardless. We're talking about Ni no Kuni 2: The Revenant Kingdom, one of my absolute favorite JRPGs ever. It's actually the first JRPG that I ever played, so it introduced me into the genre, and I've played Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch and hated it, but this one, I just freaking love it. From the kingdom management to the open world, to switching between characters in battle and using the help of Higgledies, they're so freaking cute, oh my god. Along with such a cute and cozy RPG, it's just really good. But when we were researching for this video, again, I referred to the Does It Play website. Turns out there are a few issues with the physical version that you should probably know about, and these include some info frequent crashes, instances of flickering and popping, and frame rate drops. But the major issue here is the combat with the input lag. So for example, dodging is ineffective, and because of that, this might be a game breaker for you, because at least when I played, I use a lot of dodging. So for me, there's just like, what do you mean I can't use the dodge mechanic? It is mentioned that if you play on normal difficulty, it should be fine, and I assume that you're watching this video because you want a cozy and chill RPG that you can enjoy. But what if you just want to just get some oomph into the gameplay? You probably can't do that with this one because dodging is just impossible. So it's gonna really depend on what you're looking for when you buy Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. I personally love it, but I played it on PC, so when it comes to the Nintendo Switch version, it's gonna be up to you. But let me know, which RPG would you recommend to someone who freaking loves cozy games? Thank you again for Emily for joining me. I'm gonna leave her channel linked in the pinned comment. Definitely check her out. She has amazing content that I'm pretty sure you're gonna love. Thank you to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies for making videos like this possible. Thank you for watching, and a shout out goes to the amazing Jake Logan, the Game Dimension, and Stephanie for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.